Welcome to another Drag Race related channel, because the world really needed this. In today's video, I want to talk about the case of Priscilla. Who is Priscilla? Priscilla is the host of Drag Race Italia, and after the first season of the show, she became one of the least appreciated hosts of the entire franchise. The question is, why? But before we get into that, let's start by looking briefly at who Priscilla is and why she was chosen as the host of Drag Race Italia. Priscilla is a drag queen who, after working in Italy for a few years, felt that drag in general wasn't getting the respect of people. Therefore, she took the opportunity to work in a place where drag is extremely loved, the Greek island of Mykonos. On the island, she kept building her reputation and career as a performer, far away from the Italian drag scene. Then, in 2021, she was contacted by the producers of Drag Race Italia, who wanted her as the main host. They offered her this opportunity not only for her resume, but also because she had been distant from the Italian drag scene for a while, and that would have ensured some sort of neutrality towards the contestants. And that's how she ended up being the host for Drag Race Italia. Now, let's start by looking at the controversial moments during that first season. The first that usually comes to mind is when she called Avant-Garde truck driver after the musical. In that scenario, Ava got really upset about that, and also many people at home. Now, calling someone truck driver may not sit right with everyone, and we can all see why someone might get upset about it. But many people in the fandom took it too seriously, especially international fans. See, in Italian, when you call someone a truck driver, that is slang for someone who has very stereotypical masculine manners. And here you can see the definition that Wikipedia gives for that slang term. It says that it means a homosexual woman with masculine aspect and manners. The truth is, in real life, when you call someone truck driver, you're not referring to their sexual orientation, so it's kind of weird that Wikipedia gives that definition. But you're just referring to the masculine manners, and I really do think Priscilla just hard-lightedly read Ava for her performance. Now, Ava is free to feel however she wants about it. Because yes, it's not cute to be called a truck driver, but even Divinity said in the workroom that it really wasn't that serious. So I get that she got upset, but the backlash that Priscilla received, I think it was a bit much. But now let's go to the big controversial moment of the season. The disqualification of Enorma Jean. And honestly, in this case, I just don't really see why people would blame Priscilla, because that was all production. But even if it was a decision of the judges, it was three of them. There were three of them. It wasn't just Priscilla, but still, it was a production's decision. So it doesn't really make sense to go after her because of that entire thing. Yeah, she made a questionable speech, but I don't think she wrote that speech. Production probably handed it to her. So, I don't know. It wasn't a good situation, but again, the backlash that she received, it was really too much. And then there are other people who blame her for some questionable decisions taken during the season, but I don't see people coming also for Tommaso and Chiara, who were both taking the decisions alongside Priscilla and production. In my opinion, Priscilla's biggest problem in season 1 was that she basically was a non-presence. For the entire season, it felt like Tommaso was the main host, and I think people didn't really get to know Priscilla. But anyways, things went downhill after an interview that she released a few months after season 1 aired. So let's look at what she said. She starts by saying that Drag Race Italia was her first time working in television and that she was extremely nervous. And girl, we could all see that. Then she proceeds by saying that she felt like they partially failed in introducing the audience to the art of drag, and that she feels like they've made some mistakes, both because of her inexperience as a TV host, but also because of as a production team. And I think she made two good points here. But now let's read the controversial part of the interview. She says, and I'm just going to read it, "I was too permissive with the girls, and they didn't fear me at all. This didn't stimulate them enough. The new generations of drag queens are a bit too arrogant. They often choose this career for pure fun, and they perform always in the same venues, where the audience knows them and worships them. They are loved by the people who see them perform every week. Unfortunately, no Italian drag queen has worked abroad and performed in front of an audience more familiar to drag. There's no Italian drag queen at the moment who's ready to work abroad." So these were the controversial statements. Fans and content creators in our community took it as an attack to the girls of season 1, and people really started coming for her. Whether her intention was to attack the girls or not, her words are just nonsensical and untrue. The notion that having worked abroad puts you in some sort of superior level of professionalism just doesn't make sense, and it's not even true that Italian drag queens are not ready to do it. Just looking at the cast of season 1, there is Lerish, who spent the summer of 2022 working in Mykonos, the same island where Priscilla works, and Electra Bionic, who had different gigs outside Italy, like in Paris and Amsterdam. Were her words questionable? Absolutely. And you can also see the reaction that the cast of season 1 had. But the problem for me is that after that interview, some people started attacking her and her drag non-stop. And honestly, I don't think that the answer to hate is other hate. Also because I don't really think she wanted to be hateful in that interview. She just said stupid things. But, hate is never the answer for me. But this is not just a problem. Another problem is that some relevant content creators started coming for her by also spreading incorrect facts about her and the season. Now, whether it was their intention to do so or not, I don't know. But in this video, I just want to clear things up. One of the things people started to say about Priscilla is that during the first season, she was extremely harsh with Farida Kant during her critiques, and that she seemed very envious of her. And that's pretty interesting because now it's like a common opinion, but it became common just after the interview because prior to that, no one really said that. So let's have a look at all of Priscilla's critiques for Farida. Here you can see that throughout the entire season, Priscilla only had positive words for Farida. She told her she looked radiant, that she looked great, that she was an inspiration, that she really knew how to wear a gown, and that they were able to see her heart even though she always presented herself as that bitch. Like, where's the negativity, guys? Like, there's no negativity. In the season, at least, Priscilla was never negative or harsh towards Farida. This is just a fact. And she has also been accused of saying that Farida was too confident in her and that she was too much of a bitch. The funny thing is, Priscilla is the only judge that literally never said such a thing. That was a critique. But that critique came from Chiara and Tommaso, and still, people are calling Priscilla out? Like, no, it's not fair. So, was Priscilla a good host in season 1? No, she wasn't. As I already said, she basically was a non-presence, and it felt like Tommaso Zorzi was the main host. We really didn't get to know her. Also, the interview she gave was extremely questionable and unwise. And I do think she should have apologized for certain things that she said. Still, The constant hate she receives from the fandom is way too much in my opinion. RuPaul herself has said questionable or worse things in the past, many times, and yet no one hates on her this much. Then, hating on her for things that she never said or did is even more nonsensical. She wasn't perfect, I know, but I do think she deserves a second chance. And please, stop spreading misinformation about her or anyone else. It's really not cute. And I think that's the video. I don't have anything else to add, so let me know what you think about it in the comments, and bye bye!